what I want to do, and that took a lot longer than I thought, and I'm glad, because of what I heard. Like, I like this better now. This makes sense now. It's better when I get to look at it a second time. I like that too, Faith. Thank you. What I do want to do is I want to leave you with, we'll just get into, we'll get into the next bit of modeling on Wednesday. But I wanted to just leave you with some other ways parabolas make life wonderful. And just kind of, you use some of these without even realizing it again. It's amazing how much parabolas leach into your world without you realizing it. I put some quizzes up for Wednesday that are based roughly in quadratic relationships. One is called the golden ratio, beautiful little relationship that you can explore if you choose to do it. And one is just about how you find quadratic data in the news, if you do find quadratic data in the news. What parabolas start life as is what's called a conic section. You can flush this out of your mind immediately if you want to. If you take a cone and you chop it in varying degrees of steepness with like a pair of scissors or a knife, if you cut it directly parallel to the base, you get what's called a circle, which you know that. If you tilt that, you get an ellipse. An ellipse is really, really handy if you ever want to, if you're putting a fence in. Putting a fence in with a door, okay, and you want to put a nice rounded top on that fence, yeah? You've seen those, right? Nice rounded, but you don't want to put a circular, because that's too, if you put like a little tiny like a little man door or woman door on your fence, maybe it's only like 4 feet wide. Well, if you put a circle, it's going to go up 2 feet and then drop down 2 feet. That looks kind of comical, almost like a door castle. So you might want to put like a little rounded, like a slightly not as high door on there. So you want it 4 feet wide this way, but only like maybe a foot high or 8 inches high this way. That's the tool you use to do it. And if you ever need to do that, I made a video. I can send you a link of the video, or just have me over to the house and we'll do it together. It's really, you need 2 nails, a string, and a piece of chalk. And a jigsaw, preferably. Otherwise, you'd be spending a lot of time cutting wood. But it's a super fun little math lesson. The video ellipse is very, 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 very fun. But let me know if you ever need that done. Parabola is if you let that tilt keep going until eventually you cut through the base of the cone. And if you keep going until it's vertical, you get a hyperbola, which is not worth talking about for this class. So what's amazing is, what does this have to do with our lives? Well, you just saw how it has to do with my speed on my bike. But this is also pretty cool. This is one of the properties of a parabola. A parabola, a perfect parabola, has what's called a focus. Ellipses have 2 of them. And that's why you need 2 nails to do the door thing I was telling you about. Go back to that. So a focus. What is a focus of a parabola? If you pass parallel lines into the parabola, they will bounce off. So imagine a light or a sound wave going in a straight line. It'll bounce off at an angle, and every single one of those bounces will go through the focus. Now, people figured this out a long time ago, and they started building things with it. Ever seen a dish? Of course you have. How many have them on your house? Just on the house, yes? How does the dish work? How does it work? Why is it a dish? Why is it a dish? What's the point? Well, what is the dish doing? Carrie, go ahead. What's the dish doing?
I don't know. Never mind.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, it's pointed at the sky, yes?
Well, so is the middle, is that the focus right there?
Focus.
Yeah. Okay, that's the focus.
Focus. Parabola. It's cut short, though. It's called a paraboloid in 3 dimensions. You can ignore that. Theoretically speaking, it will go on forever. But what engineers have figured out is, past the point, it's diminishing returns. If the waves are coming in like this, and this thing begins to curve up, you're going to be getting fewer and fewer waves out here. So it's not worth building it, because you have to A, build it, which costs money, and you got to support the damn thing in the air, which also costs money, building it to support it. So this is enough. So all those waves, satellite, whatever satellite waves come in, boom, bounce off of this, and they all head back towards the focus, where they're then picked up and distributed through whether TV, radio, whatever. Pretty slick, huh? Pretty slick? Check this out. Turn the lights on. Parabolic mirror. Anybody ever built one of these things? Freaking rad. Parabolic mirror. If you can bend metal into a parabolic shape like this, that guy's setting that piece of cardboard on fire by reflecting light waves up to the focus. All he's got to do is find the focus. It incinerates. Paper burns at 451 degrees Fahrenheit. You ever read that book, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury? Great book. That's where I learned it from. Never forgot it.
So magnifying glass is a
Microfine.
Oh,
magnifying glass. That is a different shape, right? That's elliptical in cross section, which means they're coming in and they're passing through and focusing to a point. Everybody's having nightmares about when they used to burn ants, yes?
Yes.
So that's the same, it's the same principle of focusing beams, but it's not a reflective focus, it's a pass-through focus. Does that make sense? This one, the beams are coming here and then going, reflecting back, whereas that's a passing through and tilting, so they're all hitting the same spot past the pit. It would be back here in that case. Does that kind of make sense?
Sorry, I didn't.
No, same idea, but just a different shape. Different shape. Very, very cool, though. Cool? They actually used this to start the Olympic Games when they were recently in Greece. I say recently, I think it was 10 years ago. They lit the Olympic torch. Look where she is. She's like, holy crap, that's hot. That's because that's 450 degrees. It's very hot. But they lit the Olympic torch with a parabolic mirror. How rad, huh? Totally freaking rad. Totally rad. Amazing, amazingly rad. Please, Ryan.
I can't remember where I saw this, but there was something similar around the same time. Where there was just a fleet of ships coming into the city to take over, and they used this method.
Archimedes.
Was that it?
You're thinking of the, I think you're thinking of Archimedes. Archimedes, the great Greek mathematician. 3 mathematicians who have been called the greatest mathematicians of all time. Archimedes, Gauss, and Newton. All of them. Gauss was on the German money for a while. Gauss is a big part of 243 if you take that journey with us. Newton, you know Newton and the apple. That's the story of Newton, the godfather of physics and calculus. Archimedes designed all kinds of... Eureka! You've heard the phrase Eureka? No, he's the one that... I haven't seen the show. He's the one that coined the phrase. He was given this job. The king of Greece thought he was given a gift of a gold crown that was a fake. And he said, Archimedes, you're the smartest dude in Greece. Figure this out. He gave him the crown. Archimedes said, okay, gotta go figure this out now. This is 300 years before the birth of Christ, so to consider his tool set. He's got almost nothing except dirt to draw in, right? So he's home in his bathtub, and he's like, man, I'm gonna figure this friggin' thing out. He's naked in his bathtub, and he stands up. And he looks down, and he notices what happens to the water when he stands up. Now you gotta realize that we all know that that's gonna happen, but they had not studied that in ancient Greece. And he stood up and watched the water go down. He's like, ugh. And then he sat back down again. The water came back up. He's like, Eureka! I have found it! Runs naked through the streets of Greece, right to the king's chamber, and goes, I got it, Your Honor! Your Majesty. It's like, cover yourself. Displacement of liquid is how he figured it out. Different solids have different densities, which means they'll displace different amounts of water. It's how they build ships, to make sure they don't sink. They can displace the water, but not sink themselves. So Archimedes discovered that principle, also developed all kinds of warfare tools that kept the Romans at bay for years and years and years. And what's amazing is he was known, this is interesting you bring this up, he was known by the Romans who conquered Greece, yes? He was known by the Romans as a national treasure. And when they invaded Greece, the last time, I guess, they invaded his little town in Greece, the Roman emperor said, if you see this man, you do not harm a hair on his head. He is a national treasure. You capture him, you bring him in. And apparently what was happening was Archimedes, he was called the Sand Reckoner. They wrote a book about him, or maybe it was his biography, I forget. He was drawing in the sand, figuring out a math problem in the sand, and a Roman soldier walked up and said, get up, old man! And the legend goes that Archimedes looked up and go, you're standing in my light, get out of the way, and the Roman soldier cut his head off. And that's how Archimedes met his end, right there, drawing, doing math in the sand. And his grave has a mathematical formula and a mathematical figure on it. Oh, wait, is that true? I think that is true. I'm a bit getting my history mixed up. But that's how Archimedes met his end, allegedly. Again, the legend has it. But yeah, Archimedes kind of discovered a lot of this stuff before the Western world had any inkling of what was going on. Pretty crazy before the Western world was even here. Anyway, another way it's used, microphones. You've probably seen this on the sidelines of football games. Little microphones. Yeah, good. Now the thing about it is, though, it can also go the other way. Remember that focus I showed you back here? This is the signals coming in and then coming to the focus. You can also emanate signals from the focus and have them go out. And I guarantee your car's headlight uses this. Especially if it's a newer headlight. Guaranteed it does. The car headlight, especially the HID ones. This is my old bike headlight. My new bike headlight also has a similar property that doesn't plug in. It's a rechargeable. Parabolic mirror. There's a little focus in there. Take a look at your car headlight. Well, it's off, please. And find that focus. Yeah, find that focus. When that thing pops light out, it pops light out spherically, and all those little points on the sphere hit the mirror and then shine directly forward. Very focused lights. Very, very focused lights. As a matter of fact, the mirrors are getting so good that many bike manufacturers, I'm not sure about car manufacturers, but bike manufacturers now sell diffusers. So I have my new LED bar-mounted light. is 1,000 lumens, 1,200 lumens, which is stupid. That's like 1,200 candles, if you will, pointing in a spot that big directly in front of me. It's fantastic, except it's almost too bright in one spot. So they sell a diffuser that you can put on the lens and actually takes it and throws it back out, predictably. You don't want to diffuse it to a 20-foot circle, because now I'm lighting up the owl and I'm lighting up the ground that I don't want to see. But you can throw it rectangularly, which is another interesting piece of mathematics, more like what Francis was talking about. Another interesting property, well, you know, let's skip that, you don't care about that. In bridges, when they begin to build suspension bridges, when they first hang these cables, before they put them under tension, guess what shape it is? Guess what shape it is? It's called a catenary, it's not a parabola. It's called a catenary. But as soon as they put them under tension, what shape is this? It's a parabolic. Parabolic. Engineers have to use this idea. Next time you cross this suspension bridge, you're going to cross the Golden Gate. Next time you go across it, look up. Oh yeah, there it is. There's Rule talking to me again. My hometown of Wilmington, Delaware, on which side? I think it's that side. Crossing into the great state of New Jersey. Largest twin-span suspension bridge in the entire world. Parabolic. 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 Leaches into your lives in ways you don't even realize it's leaching into your lives. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Not the be-all and end-all. Not the be-all, but a very nice little kind of, it's okay, don't worry about it. We're pretty much done anyway. It's a nice little waypoint between linear modeling where we're headed next. Go ahead next time, because we got 10 minutes and I don't want to start the experiment that I brought with me now, because we don't have time to collect the data. And I do have data I want to collect with you guys that you'll generate next time. Okay, doke? All right, so if you have questions, stick around. We can get them all squared away. Otherwise, we'll